welcome to Incoming, the vidcast that looks back at the week's historical miniature releases. This is episode 12, which looks back at the releases for week ending July the 24th. And as always, I'm your host, Neil Shuck. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since my last show, so I'm including releases from the last 2 weeks in my top 10. At number 10, we have the latest Napoleonic release from Bef Miniatures. Pete Berry has been finishing off his British Bacchus range, and here are the long anticipated and awaited rocket troops. A lovely little characterful addition to the British Napoleonic range from Pete Berry. Number 9, we have a new company to me. That's Bef Miniatures from the UK. This is a picture of their painted Hill Tribes command pack, which I think is particularly striking. Some of the helmets are potentially a little bit OTT for the period, but an interesting pack of figures from Bef. I'm looking forward to seeing more from them. Number 8, and shifting back to Napoleonics, but well up in scale, this time to 40mm, we have a new range of 40mm figures from Sash and Sabre. Sash and Sabre have a huge range of Napoleonics, and these are again to support their Peninsular range and their Spanish guerrillas. A nice looking selection, and these would seem to complement well their Spanish guerrillas already released by the likes of the Perrys and HLB Esco. I must admit I particularly like the officer. So some great figures here for, especially, well, to my mind, 40mm is more Napoleonic skirmish. So especially for your sharp practice or songs of drums and shako games. Number 7, and some new releases from Empress Miniatures. Now, one thing Empress have been known for recently are their Zulu Wars releases. These are additions to this particular range, and these are the kneeling part of the British firing line. Various poses available. We have 4 different packs, including firing, loading, and also some character figures as well. These do look particularly nice. I mean, there are quite a few Zulu ranges in the news at the moment, what with Empress and Wargames Factory Zulus, etc. I think these would be a very nice addition to anybody's British forces. Very impressed with these. Number 6, we shift scale again and completely shift period as we move into the modern era. These are 20mm figures from Stan Johansson, and these are actually of modern snipers, both US and Afghan. A nice little addition to his range of modern figures. Obviously being snipers, they're very dynamic poses. As I say, looking good from Stan Johansson. I'm not really familiar with much of what he's done, but as I say, these look pretty good stuff. Into the top 5, and at number 5 we have our old friends Cavalry Miniatures. Yet more mounted troops from them, this time looking at their Belisarian Romans. Another set of nice looking figures, but as has been noted on a couple of occasions before, not a particularly wide range of horse poses. It would be nice to see a couple more horse poses, maybe something a little bit more dynamic from these particular models, but it's nice to see Eastern Roman cavalry. More nice new toys from Curson. Number 4, moving to 28mm and World War II, and we have a couple of new releases from Bef Miniatures. It's a company that are producing early World War II figures. These are, so yet a couple more sets of their Germans, including some more German here, and also the first of some Waffen SS. As I say, these are early war, so they're the early war camouflage tunics as opposed to some of the later war stuff. Some nice looking figures here. I particularly like the SS officer. Top 3 and the Cavalry Strike again. This is back to Wargames Factory, and this is the first shot we've seen of their new ancient German cavalry to go for their Rome range. Obviously these can be used as both enemies and allies of Rome depending on what particular period you're playing. Obviously this is part of their continued range of plastics. It's good to see a nice dynamic pose to the horse. Obviously the horse and the rider are going to be multi-posed depending on what particular pieces you use. But as a prelude to the box set to come, I think this looks very, very promising. The detailing on the face of the German looks a little bit flat, if I'm being completely honest, but I think the overall effect is great. On to number 2, and back to a range we featured in an earlier show. These are First Corps Successor range. Earlier we featured their cavalry, this time around we feature the command units, both the foot and the mounted versions. And these are simply first class. Really do like these figures. Well sculpted, well posed, full of character. Very impressed with this release from First Corps. And finally to our number one. And well, it had to be really almost every week. It's got to be something special to be a Perry's release. And this is a much anticipated release as well. To go along with the Pony 1815 range, including all the plastics, we now have some new metal cavalry. 3 different types of British cavalry as well. We have the household cavalry, we have heavy dragoons, and finally we have the Scots Greys. As always, fantastic stuff from the Perrys. The horse poses are dynamic, the poses of the riders are fluid, natural, and, well, I know so much has been said about the Perrys already. Yeah, that they continue to do superb work. I mean, the Scots Greys look like they're right off the front of the famous painting of the Charge of the Scots Greys at Waterloo. They can be taken straight out of that particular picture, I think. So, a fantastic number one this week from the Perrys. And that's it for this week. It's been nice to get back into the swing of things after a week off at Manacon. I hope you saw something in my week selections that might pique your interest. And so, until next week, take care and happy gaming. I'll see you soon. Bye.